Welcome to my anime recap channel. In this video, I will be recapping the anime series Spy X Family Season 2. After eliminating an armed militant group, Yu engages in a phone conversation with her employer to confirm the completion of her mission. Her next plan is to purchase milk and eggs for Lloyd before heading home. Unbeknownst to her, one of her targets, though gravely injured, manages to aim a gun at her and fires a shot. Meanwhile, back at home, Lloyd, Anya, and Bond watch a news report on TV detailing the demise of members belonging to the Red Circus, a radical terrorist organization. Anya, uninterested in the news, requests to switch to watching cartoons. Initially, Lloyd hesitates, but he gives in to Anya's requests as she tears up and happily changes the channel to Spy Wars. Upon Yu's return with groceries, Lloyd greets her, but he becomes concerned upon seeing her irritated expression. Unbeknownst to him, Yu conceals the fact that she's been shot in the buttocks, which explains her grimace of pain, leaving Anya in shock. Yu retires to bed, while Lloyd mistakenly believes she's upset about running errands, determined to make amends and hoping she'll feel better in the morning. As morning breaks, Yu's condition hasn't improved. In fact, her expression seems even more troubled. Determined to brighten her day, Lloyd extends an invitation for a date. This idea springs from a conversation he had with his colleagues about the importance of dating. Surprisingly, Yu agrees to the outing, aiming to practice the role of a married woman. Anya, eager to join, faces a disheartening rejection from Lloyd, who believes their date should be an intimate affair. He arranges for Frankie to take care of Anya and Bond during their absence, compensating him for the assistance. Eager to create the perfect date for Yu, Lloyd goes to great lengths. He even arranges a chauffeur and brainstorms 862 date ideas, from helicopter rides to wine tastings. However, Yu's persistent pain limits her choices, and she opts for walking rather than sitting in a car, eliminating 794 of Lloyd's ideas. He starts to worry that she's still upset with him. As they stroll away, Anya becomes concerned about their outing. Recalling a scene from her cartoon, she suggests to Frankie that they discreetly follow Lloyd and Yu on their date. Frankie enthusiastically agrees, eager to witness Lloyd's seductive skills. Together, they don disguises while Bond remains at home with Anya's toys. Despite their best efforts to remain unnoticed, Lloyd spots them within seconds but chooses to feign ignorance to prioritize his mood. He takes her to a department store and suggests a pair of snug pants for her, which she declines as it would aggravate her injury. Lloyd continues to escort Yu to various date spots, such as the cinema, the club, the pond, the spa, and the zoo, but he's disheartened by her apparent disinterest. Conversely, Yu struggles to focus on the date due to the pain, while Lloyd is distressed by his inability to uplift her spirits. Frankie chuckles at Lloyd's less-than-stellar date, and starts some playful banter with Anya as Lloyd and Yu step into an upscale restaurant. Frankie and Anya attempt to follow them into the restaurant but are swiftly turned away due to their casual attire and Anya's age. Just as they're about to head home, Anya's telepathic powers detect someone recognizing his alter ego, the Thorn Princess. It turns out, a waiter working inside the restaurant is the sole survivor from the Red Circus group, the same group he had taken down earlier. Fueled by a desire for vengeance, he decides to settle the score. While Anya knows Yu is more than capable of handling herself, she's concerned about the potential exposure of his true identity, which could fracture their family. At Anya's urging, Frankie and Anya decide to go undercover in their spy disguises and infiltrate the restaurant. In the restaurant, Lloyd and Yu place their orders, with Lloyd complimenting the establishment for its rare blowfish delicacies. Unbeknownst to them, a former member of the Red Circus secretly extracts blowfish poison into a cocktail glass, intending to use it to eliminate Yu. Meanwhile, Anya, accompanied by Frankie, traverses through the restaurant's ventilation system, eavesdropping on the assassin's sinister plot and urging Frankie to hasten. However, Anya arrives too late, just as the poisonous martini is served to Ye. Ye consumes the toxic cocktail, but to everyone's surprise, she possesses a remarkable resistance to poison, and the blowfish venom merely numbs her injury. Ye's unexpected resilience fills her with joy, leaving both Lloyd and the Red Circus member bewildered. Despite his failure, the ex-Red Circus member decides to improvise a bomb using ingredients from the storeroom. Anya, still in the vent, notices the room nearby and disappears from Frankie's sight. As the ex-Red Circus member recites the steps to create the improvised bomb, he slips on a large puddle of olive oil in the hallway, crashing into a shelf. As he enters the storeroom, a bucket of objects falls on his head. He notices a container that would be suitable, but soon realizes that the swelling container is a bomb. The makeshift bomb explodes on him, revealing that it was just made non-lethally with peanuts. Anya appears before him, threatening him not to approach you ever again and to make his girlfriend, Catherine, happy. The former Red Circus member faints at the shock of an apparent child underling of the Thorn Princess knowing his personal details, but not before deciding to live a normal life. Ye, no longer in pain, talks cheerfully to Lloyd about the restaurant's food, and Lloyd is relieved that she has finally cheered. Frankie and Anya hide behind a bush as they watch Lloyd and Ye, with Anya proud of herself for helping out and Frankie wondering where she went earlier. As Lloyd and Ye look out at the city's night scenery, Ye thanks Lloyd for taking her out on a date, and hopes they will be able to do this again, when she is not injured. Ye notices a carnival, and Lloyd proposes they visit it. Anya excitedly insists on tagging along, wanting to ride the Ferris wheel. The next day, the numbing poison wears off and Ye is once again in pain, to Lloyd's confusion. While lounging on the couch, Bond experiences a vision, surrounded by an ominous, pitch-black void. Puzzled by its meaning, he entertains the idea that a scientist from Project Apple might be on the way to eliminate him. Bond, while fretting, gazes upon family photos and envisions his loved ones mourning his loss, imagining he perished content. He embraces his perceived destiny and proceeds to Anya's room, seeking to bid her farewell. However, she's preoccupied with homework and swiftly closes the door on him. Bond, disheartened, then makes his way to Ye, who expresses remorse for forgetting to restock dog food. Since Lloyd is currently away on work, Ye takes it upon herself to prepare Bond's dinner. Revisiting his enigmatic vision, Bond arrives at the unsettling belief that Ye's cooking might be his demise. A sense of dread washes over him, but he reasons that he can simply decline the meal. Yet, a memory surfaces Anya's stern warning that an upset Ye could be deadly. Bond envisions Ye's wrath should he refuse her dish. Fueled by defiance, he embarks on a frenzied escapade throughout the house. Then, a solution emerges. Lloyd's early return could save him from this grim fate by preparing his dinner. Determined, the family dog unlocks the door and makes a hasty escape, leaving Ye baffled. Bond races through Berlin's streets, following Lloyd's scent. Eventually, he finds Lloyd outside the Big Born Industries building. Lloyd's job right now is to sneak in and grab a sample of Gerolimus, a new true serum made by that company. But he's in a hurry and can't get the usual information he needs for a disguise. So, his only choice is to sneak in directly. Lloyd gets a big surprise when Bond shows up and tells him to go back home. But Bond won't listen and tries to explain his situation to Lloyd. Lloyd's confused about how Bond knows all this. Then he remembers that Bourne Industries might be connected to Project Apple, which makes him think Bond is out for revenge against the scientists who tested on him and his friends. With that in mind, Lloyd lets Bond join him on their missions. The two sneak into the facility and head to the lab, which has many lockers with stuff inside. One of these lockers holds the serum thereafter. While Lloyd searches for it, Bond has another vision. He sees the lab workers coming back, so Lloyd stays behind to stop them, and tells Bond to go home. Bond gets worried and tells Lloyd to hide. Before hiding, he leaves a note saying the gerolimus serum is gone. This tricks the workers into opening the locker with the serum. Lloyd and Bond, who's wearing a mask, drop down on the workers and knock them out. Lloyd thanks Bond, takes the gerolimus serum, and says he can go home early. This makes Bond envision Lloyd cooking dinner, and being happy for his safety. He barks for joy. As the morning sun rises, an alarm in an Eden Academy dorm starts beeping, stirring its residents from their slumber. Two of Damien Desmond's dorm mates, Emil Ellman and Ewan Egeberg, urge him to wake up as well, reminding him not to miss the morning muster. When the muster concludes, Henry Henderson observes Damien, who appears fatigued with noticeable dark circles under his eyes. As a consequence for oversleeping, Damien is assigned the task of assisting the dorm mother with chores, and he's not allowed to leave the school premises until he completes his duties. Ewan and Emil peek from around the corner, clearly concerned about Damien's predicament. While Damien is assisting the dorm mother, his pals come by to check on him. Damien, who pulled an all-nighter studying, is eager to earn more Stella stars. Ewan, however, expresses concern that he's overexerting himself. They mention that the dorm tutor plans to take everyone to the movies and grab roast beef on the way back. Damien remains determined to decline the offer, preferring to study and hoping to earn praise from his father by improving himself. After the dorm mother shoos them away, Ewan and Emil intentionally linger in the halls with a disheveled appearance. Henderson notices their antics and decides to discipline them as well, a punishment they surprisingly accept with enthusiasm. Damien gets a surprise when his pals decide to assist him with his chores, expressing their desire to go to the movies together. Although Damien initially insists they go on without him, they remain committed to aiding him in the tasks. Ewan even suggests they pretend to be imperial scholars, wrapping themselves in sheets like cloaks. While they have some fun, Henderson observes from inside, reflecting on the beauty of youthful friendship. Damien, lost in thought, gazes at the sky. The school custodian, Mr. Green, playfully teases Damien about having the look of someone longing for a picnic, which Damien hastily denies. Henderson, in response to their playfulness during chores, decides to assign them a new task, a field research trip with Mr. Green. Mr. Green leads the boys on an exciting canoe ride, with plans to reach a lake for a picnic. Damien notices what seems like a waterfall approaching and accidentally tumbles off the canoe. When he calls for help, Ewan and Emil dive in after him, only to find themselves in the same situation. They decide to let Damien fulfill his dreams, and touched by this, Damien is moved. Green steps in, revealing that the water is actually quite shallow, leaving the boys red-faced. Later, they start a campfire on the shore, and Green suggests they catch some fish for dinner. With Green's guidance, the friends get ready to fish. They search for bait and discover earthworms under a rock, which startle Damien. After some playful teasing from Ewan and Emil with the worms, they start fishing and successfully catch fish for their meal. While savoring their hard-earned dinner, Green advises Damien that it's alright to have fun from time to time. After the meal, he takes the boys to Stella Lake, which fills Damien with anticipation. Upon arriving at their destination, the boys find themselves in awe of Stella Lake. The stars reflect on the lake's surface, appearing within grasp, which is why it's called Stella Lake. Damien is surprised that there are no actual stars, but he acknowledges that the trip was far from a waste. They lay down on the ground, gazing at the stars. While they're enjoying this breathtaking sight, Emil remarks that the stars resemble sugar sprinkled across the sky. Damien bursts into laughter, and the other boys join in. Green then suggests it's time to head back, reminding them to write a detailed field report. Upon returning to the dorm, Green hands their reports to Henderson. Henderson expresses his gratitude to Green and asks if he allowed the boys to have some fun, which Green confirms. While going through the reports, Henderson notes that Damien's report needs more detail, pointing out its brevity. After monitoring an illegal deal, Yuri and his captain successfully catch and arrest everyone involved, not letting a single person escape. Not long afterward, Yuri receives a new assignment: investigate Franklin Perkin, a former newspaper reporter now writing articles slandering Ostania that are being released in Westalis, and stop his work from influencing public opinion. Despite voluntarily overworking himself, Yuri happily accepts. Yuri surveys Franklin without leaving behind any details of his life in his reports. The lieutenant is impressed but tries to persuade Yuri to let someone take over as he has pulled 2 all-nighters in a row. After making Yuri visibly twitch in response to words that sound similar to "ya," he tells Yuri to rest. Yuri hears Franklin leaving his home, so he and the lieutenant shadow him. They observe Franklin looking for things to write about. Franklin interrupts a group of children playing, throwing a child's toy pistol in the trash and taking pictures of them digging it out. When the children confront Franklin, he intimidates them, which angers Yuri. While surveilling Franklin writing his latest article, Yuri hears a conversation between the man and his father, in which Franklin expresses frustration in wanting to make the country a better place for them to live in and needing money just to get by. Franklin's statement gets to Yuri, who briefly writes his inner thoughts aloud that Franklin is motivated by concern for his family before ripping out the report and crumpling it. Yuri realizes that Franklin contacts his publishers at his workplace, the post office, by slipping his manuscripts into the mail. Although Franklin appears hesitant to send it, he goes through with it, sealing his fate. 4 days later, Yuri and other SSS agents arrive outside Franklin's home, waiting to arrest the man. Franklin accepts his situation and heads outside to meet with the officers. Franklin expresses appreciation for them waiting outside, and Yuri tells him there was no reason for his family to witness his arrest while he places handcuffs on him. Franklin then asks him which of the two is truly pathetic, the one fighting against tyranny, or the one serving as its lapdog. Yuri responds that he would never do anything to cause his sister pain. As Franklin gets escorted away, Yuri says he will apply for his father to receive financial assistance, and Franklin thanks him. At headquarters, Yuri's boss pats him on the back, saying he is proud of him. When asked about how he is doing in his new job, Yuri states that this is the job for him and declares to one day catch twilight. Later, Yuri drops by the forger's home with Lloyd, and Anya at home. When he asks if something is wrong, Yuri says he simply wants to see her face. Anya reads Yuri's mind and pats him. Ye also pats Yuri on the head and praises him, deciding to make some tea for everyone. Yuri is overjoyed and happily shouts for Ye, embarrassing her and giving Anya heartburn. In the latest episode of Spy Wars, Bondman is on a mission with his partner Agent M, who proclaims her love for him as they make their getaway. Later, Bondman and M encounter an enemy spy, who threatens to kill him. Bondman resolves this by ending the conflict between their countries, allowing him and the woman to be together. From the daughter of a nuclear scientist, a terrorist's girlfriend, head of an evil organization, and even his landlord, Bondman continues picking up more and more love interests. Eventually, all the women become angry and demand that Bondman choose one of them, but Bondman refuses. As a result, he is brutally beaten by the women who all leave him, and he muses that as a spy, danger comes with the territory. Anya, watching this episode, comments that this must be one of those lovey-dovey shows that she can talk about with Becky. Lloyd tells her to stop, confused and disgusted with Bondman's womanizing behavior. At the rooftop of the department store, Anya sees large electric plush animals to ride on, and tells Lloyd she wants to ride the panda one. Lloyd, in his endless thoughts, thinks about how pointless they are, but when Anya starts crying, and at Ya's suggestion, Lloyd lets her ride the animal. When Anya says she wants to ride it again, Lloyd thinks about how he cannot understand children. Later, Anya sees people at the ocean on TV and says she wants to go there. Lloyd compromises by taking her to the pool. While Anya is initially having fun, She hears the thoughts of other kids peeing in the pool, to her shock and disgust. At home, Anya says she never wants to go to the pool again, and Lloyd is once again confused. At Cecile Hall's boys' dormitory, Ewan and Emil wake up for morning muster. Remembering last time, they go to wake up Damien as well, but Damien is already awake, having woken up an hour ago to study. He says that last time was a fluke, which impresses his friends. At the Forger home, Lloyd desperately tries to wake Anya up so she will not miss the bus and be tardy, worried that she will get a tinnitus bolt for too many tardies. However, Anya is too asleep to get up, and she ends up being tardy. Like and comment if you enjoyed this video, subscribe to my channel for more anime recaps, and tell me what anime recap you'd like to see next in the comments below.